So this is an interesting thing. The reason why I asked it, and most of you are correct, is because one of Big Tobacco's talking points, it's a consistent talking point, is they want to confuse us. And one of the things that they want to confuse us on is whether or not it's nicotine that is causing cancer. One of the things that I think they're very comfortable with is propagating the notion that if they can just find a way of getting nicotine in your body without it mutating your DNA, without it causing some type of a systemic alteration that will ultimately manifest or expose you to more chances of cancer, that they can continue to sell us on the next version of clean nicotine. And that's just not true, guys. Nicotine is a strong component of cancerous tumor development. It accelerates cancer growth. It initiates a failure of the immune system and a suppression of our body's natural responses. And so one of the most important things that we should teach our kids is that nicotine in and of itself, no matter how you get it in your body, is a carcinogen. It enhances and increases the rapidity of growth when it comes to mutagens and cancerous cells. And so sometimes people think, well, if I put a patch on my arm, it's going to be okay. And it's still going to get you. You chew gum, you eat a lozenge, it's going to be okay. It's still going to get you. Still not good for you. Still poison. I smoke it through a cigarette or I vape it. Well, whatever you're going to do with it, okay, there's never going to be a clean method of getting a poison in your body. And nicotine is a poison. So says the CDC. It is an absolute poison for your body. It is a known toxin, okay? Nicotine products, tobacco products related to cancer in the early 1900s, somewhere between 1905 and 1910. And yet, as late as the 1950s, the average American was completely in the dark about how carcinogenic tobacco and nicotine products were. I would dare to say that the average teenager today is still under the misimpression that if they use nicotine in a quote-unquote less harmful way, that they're going to somehow avoid the carcinogenic effects of nicotine use. And I couldn't be farther from the truth. And yet they continue to propagate the myth, the misperception, that you can, in fact, use nicotine safely. And there's plenty of social proof, right? There's plenty of proof around us for our kids to look at and see it on the shelves and these colorful packages, and they're stopped at a traffic light, and maybe 2 out of the 5 cars in the traffic lights has these billows of mist or smoke coming out of them, and what do they have but to believe they're not dead? Could it really hurt you? But nicotine is one of those drugs, unlike fentanyl, unlike heroin, that doesn't take away your today, it takes away your tomorrow. But this is what I see on a regular basis. I'm a part of several listservs, I pay subscriptions to several journals, and I have these keyword searches out there. And on my keyword searches, I want to be notified if anything links vaping, e-cigarettes, or e-valai, any of these key terms to VG, PG, and all that kind of stuff. And what happens frequently is I'll get an alert in my email box that says study released with the keywords that you're interested in, and by the time I get there to look at it, I see this. Where is my pointer? There we go. I'll see this. This article's been retracted. Why did that happen? It happens almost every time, within about a week or 2. Because as soon as I get the notification that that study has been released, so does Big Tobacco and their lobbyists. And those big tobacco agents and lobbyists will pounce on whoever published that study, and it disappears. Now the tragedy of this is, like asbestos, like cigarettes, like the filtered cigarette, like the light cigarettes, this prolongs the identification of public health trends, and unfortunately, guys, there's no other way around this but to say it causes death on a large and widespread basis. And so why is this a big problem for us, and why am I spending so much time on this? Because I need you to know that when you go home, when you try to explain to your uncle or to your child who is now of consenting age to do whatever they want, however they want, right? And you try to present them with some facts and figures about vaping, they are going to be able to come back at you with some decent arguments and some credible sounding information, because Big Tobacco has made sure that they can find that information. In fact, it's going to be way easier for them to find that information than it will be for you. I'm going to fast forward through some of this, but what I do want to mention to some of you who may not know this, is there anybody in here, can you be honest with me, friends, since we're family now, can you be honest with me, is there anybody that's surprised to hear any of the facts that I've mentioned so far? Is there anybody here that maybe didn't know that vaping is really bad for you? Now don't be afraid to admit this if it's you. Let me do it this way. Do any of you have family, have people in your lives who would be surprised to hear some of the things that I'm saying? Maybe some of you? Okay, some of you are well informed, and I love hearing that. If you think that what you are hearing today should be a shock or surprise because you were sold on the notion that vaping was better for you than smoking cigarettes, let us dispel you of that myth right away. This is not the first generation of human beings that has faced that sudden shocking realization that, oh shoot, Big Tobacco lied to us.